welcome back to a guest episode of Straight from the Drafts. And today we are joined by Ruth. Hi, Ruth.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have Ruth on the podcast. We only met a couple of weeks ago, so this is a speedy turnaround recording, but it's going to be a good one. Ruth, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone listening?
I'm Ruth. I'm really excited to be here. I am a London-based Squarespace web designer, mum of two wild boys, and yeah, I'm really excited to kind of share. I guess I won't say what my USP is because we're going to talk about that a lot more in a minute. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I feel like it's a slight spoiler for your self-trust story today. We, just to do a little intro, we actually met on a Yaycation, so shout out to Yay Collective, to Mary, who brought us together.
In Marrakesh, the gorgeous Marrakesh. Yeah.
Absolutely wild. So I don't know if the video is going out for this one, but if it is, you'll be able to see a little snippet of a Marrakesh print that Ruth bought at the airport to remember the trip by. So yeah, it's really nice to have this little follow up. It's nice to chat to you again after spending 5 days together and getting to know each other far too intimately in the hammam.
And I mean, you kind of gave me a good little push and inspiration to come on to a podcast after me saying, "Oh, my goal is to be on podcasts," and you were like, "I have a podcast, come on mine." So yeah, thank you for that. Goal ticked.
Yeah, absolutely. I am honoured to be one of the first, and I say one of the first because there will be more.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Where would you like to start with your story today? Take us as far back as you want to go.
Um, so my self-trust story, it kind of, I've got two, I guess, key points that come to mind, and they both coincide with having my two children. So I guess we'll go back to 2019 when I had my first. So I'm a web designer now, but my background is actually in events. So I worked in events and hospitality, which was great, but I kind of got to a point where it felt very repetitive, and I'd never thought of myself. I was quite happy, just being in the system, working for other people, being able to go home and turn my phone off, know that that paycheck was coming at the end of the month, and yeah, I was kind of quite happy being in that routine, I guess. But then I had my first child, and then suddenly like everything shifted, and I was like, time is precious. And I suddenly realized that if I was paying to put my son into childcare, I actually wanted to want to be in the place that I was, spending away from him. Like I was like, that money has to go to something important. Otherwise, what's the point? I might as well just stay at home with him. But COVID hit obviously early 2020. And I feel like COVID is such an anchor point in a lot of people's stories now. But yeah, the events industry that I had been working in just absolutely fell apart, and hospitality was no more. I don't know if you remember, everyone started buying cocktail boxes. You might have bought a cocktail box and at home make your own cocktails. So the events company that I worked for like very quickly shifted into being like a cocktail box producer. And so in my head I was like, I had the anxiety of going back to work, but I also had the anxiety of actually going back to a completely different role, because I wasn't going back to the job that I left. And the whole like team had kind of come together and gone through this whole evolution and change together that I hadn't have been part of. I had just been like, within my four walls at home with a baby, trying to work out what is going on with life. And it felt really scary to go through this whole different change. So I kind of decided that I had 6 months of maternity leave left. And I basically said to myself, I've got 6 months to work out a way not to go back to work. And yeah, it was actually an amazing like brain activity for me. But also, yeah, just having that really scary thought of like, what do I do? How do I do it? What am I doing? This is probably not the safest, financially stable move coming off the back of a maternity leave to then just quit my safe and secure job and go, right, I'm going to go it alone now. But yeah, that was kind of what I did. um,
I think COVID kind of forced people to assess their priorities, or like it was almost like you were saying, you were quite happy in that routine, but when that routine gets interrupted, it's a good little like, well, maybe it's not good sometimes. You're like, whoa, I thought I was happy doing that, but it really reflects things back to you, doesn't it, when you're just kind of doing the same thing day after day, and then some big event happens that makes you stop and reassess.
I think it's also like it just being completely out of my hands. I don't think I
Yeah.
would ever have come to that decision just naturally. It took
Mhm.
literally a force of nature to like, yeah, it's confronting and being like, okay, what am I doing with my life? What are priorities? And I think
Mm.
a lot of businesses shifting who previously would never have allowed people to work from home or have flexibility to now being forced to that is your only option. It was just a whole shift, and people realise actually we are really productive working from home and we
Yeah.
can balance family life a lot better. You know, we can stick a load of washing on during our lunch break, or, you know, we can fit in a workout before we turn on our computers and that kind of thing. So, yeah. So, I kind of looked at what my strengths were, what I enjoyed doing. Obviously, being in events, I always say now, my biggest strength is like organization. I'm a planner. I love planning. I plan itineraries for my holidays. I thrive off it. Organization is like what keeps my stress under control. And in, you know, alongside that, actually design was quite a skill of, I say skill, I'm not a graphic designer, but like in terms of my base level skills, design was one of them. I was kind of within the events, this sounds really like lame, but like designing the menus, designing the packages, the PDFs that we'd send out to people. So I was like, okay, I can kind of help with this. So yeah, I kind of got into just like doing anything that could help me, like I say, not go back to work. So I started doing like design virtual assistant support. So I was helping people put together presentation, PDF packs, marketing materials, that kind of thing, which then kind of evolved into social media. And then someone said to me, oh, I've got a Squarespace website, but it needs updating. Can you help me with that? And I was like, okay. I built my own website to promote myself on Squarespace. And I was like, this is great. I really enjoyed doing that. So then I was like, okay, this one person asked me to help with their website. So that must mean that there are other people out there who also need help with their website. So I joined a course to kind of learn how to custom code and learn the basics of what can be done in Squarespace and that kind of thing. And I really loved it. I really enjoyed being in Squarespace as opposed to being in, I don't know, Canva or
Mm.
InDesign and Photoshop when I was kind of first started. And so yeah, I kind of had this moment where I was like, I had quit my job. I went back from maternity leave in November. I handed my notice in December, and I'd been kind of doing tidbits here and there for people. And about 6 months later, I was like, do you know what? I really feel like that I don't want to do it when I'm doing the PDFs now and the social media posts, but I really get excited about Squarespace. So I decided that I needed to stop any work with any clients that wasn't Squarespace and
Yeah.
just go all in on the one thing, which felt really scary because all of my like retainer type clients were social media and I
Okay.
was going, okay, yeah, thanks for that, but not for me anymore. I'm going to do this thing that I've got no clients for and really hope that it kind of works out. So yeah, so I chucked myself into that, which I mean, it has worked out. It was a bit scary. I definitely was Googling like shelf stacking supermarket night shifts
Yeah.
that could work around my son and my husband having a day job. Does my local pub need help on a Saturday night? Like that kind of thing of just like, somehow I will make this work and still be able to pay my bills. But yeah, so I kind of gradually got more clients. But then I quickly realized that the traditional web design 3 month, let's say, project was so stressful and anxiety inducing, and I just could not keep on top of. I felt like I was constantly chasing people and constantly nagging clients that we'd started off really excited to start this project, and then within 2, 3 weeks, I was like, "Oh, hi again. I still don't have this. Yeah, hi. When's that coming? Okay, we'll push the start back again. The start
Yeah.
date back again. Oh, and then suddenly I was like, oh, I thought that I was going to have this money come in from this project on this month, but now the date's pushed back, so now I don't have that money anymore. And everything just felt really, I guess, out of control or out of my control and unstable. And yeah, it felt really stressful. And I was suddenly like, I couldn't enjoy working for myself because I don't know, plan to do that thing of like, oh, I meet a friend for lunch on a Wednesday because I work for myself and I can do that. And then suddenly something would come in and I'd be like, oh no, but I actually have to be at my desk for that. So now I can't do that lunch thing. And I never knew when I had working time or when I had free time, and it all just felt a bit bonkers. So I guess fast forward a bit, I then fell pregnant with my second child and went through that. Oh my god, what am I doing? I don't have a stable income, and now suddenly I'm going on maternity leave and I don't have maternity pay because I work for myself. And what was I thinking? So I did actually take a 4 month contract job to just tide me over that and give me a bit of stability.
Yeah.
And that was quite a, like, people, I guess there's two halves of people. There's the one group who are like, take the part-time job, do what you need to do to make the thing happen, like you're kind of putting the foundations in place for your future. And then
Yeah.
there's the camp of people that are like, no, go all in on the thing, and don't distract yourself with taking a part-time job and like all this.
Mm.
And so it felt really, I guess, a bit of a failure to be like, I've been trying to do this for 2 years and now I'm going back to the commute and the office job 3 days a week, and like, what? But then I,
So frustrating though, that conversation, because like you have a house and a husband and a child. Like I think often the people who say you've got to go all in, or if you take the safe option, quote unquote safe option of an employed role, like, oh well, it means you don't back yourself. I don't think most of them are mums or have their own place. They might still live with family or have some other kind of
yeah,
financial support in some way. I think it's a really unfair projection.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great that you're in that position, but I don't think it means that you don't trust yourself at all.
Yeah, it's a really, I guess it was a bit of a lonely, isolating time because you're
Mm.
like, yeah, it was a bit of a weird, because I obviously wanted to get this 4 month contract job. So I didn't want to be to them like, I don't really want this, but I kind of need it. And I
Yeah.
still want to have this other thing. But then, yeah, to be to clients that I was working with going, yeah, I actually can't do calls Monday to Wednesday anymore. And the other 2 days I have to fit them around nap times because I don't have my job. So it was like this crazy juggle. But what then kind of led me, I guess, to point two of the evolution. When I was on maternity leave with my second, I was like, I can't go back to this, are we doing it? Are we not doing it? Chasing people, not chasing people. And yeah, I kind of was like, I now have 2 kids and
Mhm.
I need to know when I'm working and when I'm not working, and ultimately when I need childcare. So with my second, my youngest, I had kind of dabbled in the website in one day thing before I had my second, but it was more of a kind of like, I'd like to do this. I don't really know. It sounds quite cool, but
Bit
and
of an
different. But
experiment.
yeah. And then when I had my second, it was like, light bulb. This is the thing that serves, that helps my life.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law lives 2 hours away, and she was my daytime office hours support, because obviously other family members or whatever work traditional hours and weren't around. And so I was like, if I can say to her, right, I've got a booking on Wednesday, I need you to help me 9 till 5 on that day. She was like, cool, I'll put it in the diary, I'll come up, I'll stay the night, and then I'll leave the next morning. And yeah, it was kind of like almost revolutionary that I could just say, right, this is the day that I'm working. And then we'll do it on the Wednesday, and then on the Thursday I can go to that baby music class guilt-free, not worrying if I need to be at home because something might come in or whatever. So yeah, it kind of, I created a service kind of around what my life needed, as opposed to, I guess the traditional way would be looking at your audience and saying, what do they need? I guess I did a bit of a role reversal, I guess a selfish, not selfish, but you know, a kind of, I was thinking of myself when I created the services as opposed to
Yeah.
thinking of the audience. But what actually happened was a lot of the clients that I work with are parents, and you know, we are, and this isn't exclusive to parents, but just the world that we live in, we are time poor, and but we're driven and we want results the
Yeah.
same as everyone else. We just maybe have a bit more limited time to do it in. So yeah, having this thing where I was like, we start at 9, we finish at 5. That's it. And if you want to bring your kids onto the call, if you want to do the call from, I've done website in 1 days where I've had the client jump on the call from the hotel room. He's been on holiday with his family in Tenerife, but he knew that he only needed to be on a call at 9, at 1, and at 5. So
Yeah.
he was like, right, okay, cool. Can I go back to my daiquiri on the sunbed now? I was like, yep, 4 hours, I need you back again. So yeah, it kind of works for other people as well, because they
Yeah.
know that this is the day that the thing is going to happen. It takes the procrastination out of the project because we're going to get the thing done. And yeah, it takes the faff out of, like, where previously it was a very fluid kind of, there wasn't an end date of this long term project. It was kind of like, when you provide me this, I'll then respond with that. Whereas
Mm.
now, having a 1 day website, it's like, well, I need everything on this date. Otherwise, that 1 day that we are going to bring it all together is not going to happen.
Mm.
Kind of forces things to happen. And yeah, for clients that I work with, all of their prep work is done in advance, so they can do that whenever they want, in evenings, mornings, around nap times, whatever. So long as it's all submitted on this particular day, our 1 day website will all come together and happen. So yeah, it kind of was this amazing thing that was driven out of me needing to tell my mother-in-law when she had to come up from Southampton to this service that was actually a lot easier to market, because a website in one
Mm.
day, like, it does what it says on the tin. We build the website in 1 day, and that is
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so it kind of was this thing that happened out of my childcare needs, really, and now it's become my USP and the thing that I do.
It's worked out so perfectly though, because like you say, it might have started, it was inspired by your needs, but there's obviously a lot of benefits on the client side as well. Do you find that they're more, I don't know whether like confident or solid in the decisions that they make when they're a bit forced into those snappy decisions on the day? And I guess the same for you. Do you feel like you make decisions quicker because you have to?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think, I mean, I hope that clients that I work with feel more confident in making decisions, because I'm there going, yeah, let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, just do it. And like, a big thing in what I say to everybody is that you just need to do the thing. Like, we don't need to, it doesn't need to be perfect. I think people get so caught up on everything having to be perfect in order to publish something. And this goes for, like, you know, that Instagram story, or that newsletter or your first blog post or something. Like you just got to do it, and then it can evolve and adapt and grow as you grow. And actually, what I find, particularly with websites, is I work a lot with business owners at the start of their business journey. So typically, I will be building their first ever website for their business.
Yeah.
And I say to everyone, in 6 months' time, I guarantee your website is going to change. Whether that is a service changes, or your pricing changes, or you've kind of, narrowed down who it is that you want to serve, or something like that. You could spend 10 grand and work 6 months on your website, or we can do it in a day. Either way, I guarantee in 6 months' time it's going to change. And so, yeah, once kind of there's that understanding of this doesn't have to be the final version, I think it takes a lot of that pressure off. And when people see their website start coming together, they're like, oh my God, actually, I have a business and I am really good and I look amazing. And then suddenly that, I don't know, about me paragraph that they'd been stressing over in the Word document, when they see it come to life on their website with their image and, everything, it's like a real light bulb of like, okay, yes, I can do this. This is,
Yeah.
we have legs here to grow this thing. So yeah, I think there's definitely a confidence thing of being a bit fast moving and all, just kind of letting go and enjoying it rather than stressing over it, I guess.
Yeah, and it sounds from the way things were originally when you started doing this and you felt like you were nagging and they maybe like were working on other things and not necessarily lost interest, but for both sides, it sounds like the energy was completely different doing it that way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It becomes a chore, and you just want to get it done because you're fed up of thinking about it. Whereas the kind of fast moving is like the excitement does just carry on through.
Yeah.
And it's like I always have a midway phone Zoom call with clients, and that's the first time that they will see a preview of their website. So this will be like midday, for example, and it's amazing. Like when they first see that, and it's like, oh, like it's actually it's real, like it's coming to life. That really then just carries on throughout the day. So we've got like the anticipation in the morning of them being like, oh, I can't wait to see what it looks like. And then in the afternoon, it's like, I actually have a website. Oh my gosh, we're actually going to launch this at 5. And it is really exciting. And I think, yeah, that can get lost in much longer project. I had a call 2 days ago with someone, and she was like, if this actually happens and we can actually do it in a day, this is going to be my dream actually coming true. And I was like, what a privileged position for me to be in. Like, this is something, a business that she's been thinking about for ages. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I'm really hoping this is going to be a turning point. She was made redundant, so it kind of gave the kick that she needed to boost that business that she'd been thinking about. And for her, the website is the thing that is like puts it out there of like, I'm legit. I actually am a business. This is a thing that I'm doing. And so yeah, I don't take it for granted that this is so meaningful. And I really, yeah, I want people to be proud. And if they're excited on the day about their website, then they're going to want to go and tell everyone about it. And then it's
Yeah.
going to boost their Google ranking. Like so I really want people to be like out shouting in the street, I've got a website, go and look at it. So yeah, excitement, I guess, is your best marketing tool, right, in your business.
Yeah, it's so special. And I don't know why there is such a difference between, putting yourself out there on socials versus like when you have that first website. But I remember that feeling, and I don't feel like it's a feeling I'll forget when I got my preview of the website through. And I honestly, I don't know if I cried, but I definitely was so emotional if actual tears didn't fall from my eyes
Yeah.
because it does feel like such a milestone and that, oh my gosh, I'm a real business. This isn't just me trying
Yeah.
something out. And I don't know why that is the psychology behind it, but
Yeah.
I can completely resonate with how that client was feeling. I remember it like it was yesterday, and I think I've had my website for, I don't know, at least 2 years now, probably more.
Yeah. No, it's a great, that's the thing that you're driving people to. And I say, like, with if you're not excited by your website, you're not going to send anyone to it. Like,
Mhm.
if you're at a networking event and you're like, well, here's my Instagram profile because my website's a bit like that isn't good for business. Like, you want to be excited by it to send people to it. So yeah, it's a real privilege to work with people and kind of help get that get them off the kind of starting point with that, and doing it in a way that is efficient and maximizing our busy old lives.
Yeah. And it must feel so good for you now that you've got a business that feels good for your nervous system too.
Yeah, I don't think I've got a bigger dopamine kick out of when we launch a website
Yeah.
in a day and when it comes together. And I think over the years, like it's coming up nearly 4 years now that I've only been doing, well, my main thing has been the website in one day. And yeah, now I kind of fully understand what I can actually achieve in a day. But I remember the first one that I did, and I don't think I went to the loo the whole day. At 5 o'clock, I was like, oh yeah, there's that coffee that I made myself 9 hours ago and I haven't drunk. Like, I was like, I need to get this done to prove that I can do it. Whereas now, I've got so much more like structure in place, that it is really enjoyable. I love it. It's such an adrenaline kick. And yeah, at the end of each day, I normally have to go for a bit of a walk to just like
Mhm.
come down, bring my adrenaline down a little bit. And my husband always says to me in the evenings of a design day, he's like, I can always tell when you've done a website in one day. He's like, because you just don't speak. I'm so like drained and like done, and I've put everything into it. But yeah, it's a real buzz doing it. Yeah, it's great. I really enjoy it.
I do think it's so nice for people to hear that that is possible as an end goal of having this business that actually works for you, but also works so well for the client. And also knowing that, like, that was not version one of your business. It's
Yeah,
okay for things to evolve and figure out as we go. That is so normal.
yeah, 100%. And I remember when I first started and obviously was looking at every YouTube and article and like what should my business be? And everything was always about the niche. You need to have a niche. And I remember just being like, I don't know what my niche is. I don't know. I will just work with anyone who's willing to pay me money. I don't care what they do. Like, I don't, and I remember thinking it just felt so restricted, as if like you couldn't have a business if you didn't serve this one thing for this one person. And then ironically, my niche became time.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I have a very, very solid niche from trying not to have a niche. So, yes, it's quite wild how the evolution of business has gone. But I think it's just one of those things that I guess it's so easy to look at your lifestyle or your availability or something like that and see it as a negative and restrictive. Whereas
Mm.
actually, like if you spin the angle and go, well, actually, this thing could be my offer. And, I'm not saying a 1 day intensive works for everyone, but like I've definitely seen copywriters offer an intensive 1 day, let's just do your website homepage or something like that. I've participated in photography shoots where it's a 1 hour shoot and we just get snappy happy around Covent Garden or something.
Yeah.
And like, I think there is definitely a market for going hard and fast, putting your all into that particular thing and getting an outcome. And it might not be like the photo shoot. Was it like hair, makeup styled? No, I was literally running around Covent Garden, stopping in doorways, pulling a quick pose, and then. But actually, I got a load of photos I can use across social media and my website, and like, I got the outcome that I wanted, and I was able to pay a lower price because it was for a shorter amount of time and that kind of thing. So I think there's definitely potential in a whole range of businesses to offer, around your particular lifestyle needs. So yeah, I don't think like things that you might think are negative or restrictive, or having childcare restrictions or that kind of thing, need to be a negative on your business, because if you're in that situation, it's guaranteed that a whole other group of people are going to be in that situation as well. So also, like, time zones, if you can only work in the evening, maybe start marketing to Americans or something. So yeah, there's opportunity in every restriction, I guess.
Some wise, wise words there from you, Ruth. I love that. I think so many people need to hear that reminder of trying to find, flip it around, try and find the solutions. While we're on your wise, wise words, do you have a cheesy quote, life mantra, like piece of advice that has stuck with you that you would like to share?
I feel like this is cheesy because if I haven't, I might have already said it. I feel like I say it all the time, that done is better than perfect. That is I talk about it a lot in the work that I do, but I also say it to myself a lot. Like when I've intended to go out on a 5K run and I've stopped at 3K and walked for 30 minutes, I'm like, do you know what? That was better than me just staying at home not doing anything. Done, better than perfect. And yeah, I apply it to a lot of things in my life, that yeah, we don't need to be striving for perfection. And I actually think in our day and age, in the way that life is now, and with the rise in AI trying to bring, that perception of perfection, we do want to see the nitty gritty, messy, behind the scenes. We'll get there someday. If you land on a website and there's just, a selfie instead of a styled photo shoot image, you're like, well, that's the actual person that we're going to jump on that call with, isn't it? It's not. So yeah, done is better than perfect would be my cheesy quote.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Can reply to everything. Thank you so much. I will pop your links into the show notes, but is there anything in particular or anywhere in particular that you would like to shout out and send people to as they finish listening to this episode?
I mean, I guess an Instagram follow is always lovely. If you wanted to find out more about Website in One Day, that's on my website. But yeah, just say hello.
I will add all the links, so please go and look in the show notes and give Ruthie a follow, because even if you're not looking for a website right now, she's just a gorgeous human that I think you will enjoy having in your life, virtually or in person if you ever have the privilege. So yeah, go and show her some love, please.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us today and your wise, wise words.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
I hope you have a gorgeous rest of your week, and I'll be back in your ears next week. Bye!